All right, for breakfast this morning, I have no added sugars. I have my special low glycemic hot cereal. I have half of an apple, 3 strawberries cut up, and just a smidgen of blueberries. And then I have 1 egg white and 1 egg. So I'm going to save half of this apple for later and have it as a snack. So for lunch, I'm having, this is a can of green beans. It's been rinsed and drained, 2 ounces of my taco meat from yesterday, and I'm going to put in a 1/4 cup of salsa. I'm just going to cook that up. It's going to help it not stick to the pan and flavor it nicely. And then I'm just going to add in a couple of tablespoons of Parmesan, and this is going to be so good. And here it is. I'm going to serve it up with one of my whole grain tortillas with 1 tablespoon of regular cream cheese and a diet drink here. I still need to finish a workout because I still got a little lifting to do. So I'm going to have the rest of that half of an apple that I didn't eat this morning and then half of a tablespoon of the sunflower butter. And then I'll get to work. Not enough for me, you guys. You know, this is between lunch and dinner, and I am having... I want something. I just want something. So I made a short smoothie. This is just a cup. So I used 1/3 of a scoop of the egg white protein powder, 1 cup of unsweetened cashew milk, a teaspoon of the skinny syrup or raspberry. So there's no sugar here at all, but it tastes just like a strawberry quick. And look how thick it is. So this is gonna do it for me. And so I'll be able to wait for dinner tonight now. This should be just fine, and it's so good. For dinner, I have a slice of French bread, some asparagus. I've got some of my prepped barbecue chicken and a half of a slice of provolone. And this was really great. Honestly, no sugar. But when my kids came home from an event they went to, one of them gave me this Cracker Jack as a surprise, which is so sweet. But look at the amount of sugar. There's like 13, 14 grams of sugar. So I told him I'm going to save this for something very special, a very special time, and then we'll share it. Morning, everybody. It is pretty darn early this morning, and I thought I would just jump on my exercise right away and get it done. This is Thursday morning, which is the 4th day of our low sugar challenge, and I actually usually put my makeup on before I come out here because of the order of how I have to do things in the morning to get things done, and kind of did it backwards today and didn't realize I was probably going to talk to you guys. So anyway, ta-da! This is me without makeup at all. And, you know, in the morning I get kind of puffy in the morning, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm like looking at myself, and I'm like, do some lymphatic massage, maybe, you know, maybe it'll look better. It is what it is. So truly, this is raw in real life. Okay, good morning, everybody. Got my face on. It is still Thursday, and I wanted to check in with you. I want to welcome JOCM2225 into our challenge. I'm very happy to have you. This has been an awesome challenge, and I feel like we're smack dab in the middle now, and it's great. And it's always a good time to start, always. We have been finding out so much about ourselves, about products that we're bringing into our home and into our bodies, and how we react, and what time of day is the witching hour, so to speak, or the time when we need to have a plan to go to when cravings hit, and how to stave those off and things like that. And it's just been a really wonderful challenge, and we're learning so much. I think all of us are. And some of it is surprising because there's certain foods that we've gone to that maybe we've had a little bit more of. My friend Dee from Skinny Jeans for Lifetime was talking about in one of her videos. You should go check her out. She's on the challenge. She's doing a really great job, kicking it. And she had these really cool little Weight Watcher cookies. And usually she said she would have 2 of them, but then after checking the sugar out, she decided to have 1 because she was a little surprised at the amount of sugar that they were carrying, which I don't think was too bad, but you got to make that choice right now into, you're only having so much per day, so you have to go, all right, where do I want to spend it? And do I want to? I find myself trying to save them as much as possible because I don't know what the day is going to bring. And if I want a splurge, if I want something, I know I'll have them. So I tend to try to shy away from having them first thing in the morning because I don't want to use them all up and then have to have a bummer of a day, right? And but as a result of that, I think I need to kind of scatter them out a little bit more. But I ended up with using 3 last night, I think, 3 for yesterday. And I was like, what? 3? That's insane. And one of them was on the sugar-free chocolate pudding. And then the last one, oh gosh, I don't remember what that was on. Dang it. Anyway, but it was 1, so, but, oh, it was sunflower butter. I had a teaspoon of sunflower butter with the apple. Okay, so my kids have decided that they wanted to do this, and I'm pretty careful. We're really careful with them on letting them do certain things when it comes to food because they are forming their habits and things like that, and we don't want to encourage an unhealthy relationship with food. We don't want them having, being I don't know, forming mindsets that are going to be extremes and black and white and things like that, that could push them into some sort of a disordered eating. But there is a way, kids still are going to, even though they're still going to form their opinion and their profile on food. And so they still need to have a healthy guided look, right? And so if we don't give them any guidance at all, they can form an unhealthy relationship and go full force into a ton of sugar and get, develop type 2 diabetes. It's not what we want to happen either. So we do need to give them some structure and some guidance, so we have to be real careful about how we do that. And so I looked up, looking up the recommended amount for the kids just to double check, finding out that their recommended daily intake of added sugars is actually 25 or 6 teaspoons, as well as mine as a woman. And so men is a little higher because they're recommended to have more of 9 teaspoons total throughout the day. So even though my husband is trying to stick with 25, he could probably go up a little bit more. He could go 29, maybe even 30, and still be okay. Now, last night, I think that we've all had a day where we all had a crash, right? And it was 1 to 2 days after we first started, and we had a real slump, and then we started to pick up again. Last night was definitely my husband's slump, and he was just so exhausted, and he couldn't live. He just had to drag himself to bed. And I thought, he has to, I'm really going to encourage him to have some whole grains today and some healthy carbs to try to keep his energy going. And he did do a round of insanity yesterday, the workout, and I think that just pushed him over the edge. So he left with no cooler and no lunch or anything, and I know he didn't eat breakfast this morning, so he's just setting himself up for a crash. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some food together, and I'm just going to try to find out where he's at. I think he's 30 minutes away, though. See if I can drop something off to him. But I really want to encourage him not to have that bug out and go where he's not supposed to. But anyway, I was listening to another channel this morning. She's a young lady. She's very inspiring. And her name is Sarah Moran Nutrition. And she was talking about a time when she was a lot younger, and she was on a trip to France, and she had given up sugar for a year, and she said she was battling with having to, while she was in France, she didn't allow herself to have anything, and so I think she kind of missed out on a lot of the experiences there because culinary wise, I guess, because she was in a mindset where she just was not going to allow it because the year wasn't over. And looking back on it, I think she said she was indicating how she could see how that was kind of an extreme mindset, and kind of advising, against that. And I want to put the caution out there, because as we're doing this, this is another thing to be mindful of today, is we don't want to be in that black and white mindset, because we still have to live. We don't normally live black and white. We live somewhere in the middle. Most of life is gray, right? And some of it is black and some of it is white, but most of it is gray, and we need to learn to find that balance and that moderation. And I think as Weight Watchers, and I want to know how you guys feel about this, so I'm putting this out there for discussion. As Weight Watchers, I think that we've all battled with the mindset of getting the lowest amount of carbs. I personally, or not carbs, points per day. And I personally think that if you're still losing, you should try to eat as many of your points as you can. I really do feel that way, because once we go into some sort of a slump where you're stalling, you need to be able to give somewhere without, going lower. I mean, where are you going to go, right? If you're like already so low. And so with the sugars, it's nice to have those low days on the added sugars, but if you feel like adding, I mean, we have 25 added sugar allowances per day on this challenge. So I want to encourage you not to feel badly if you have a splurge and you're within that amount. If you're within that amount, don't feel bad and enjoy the moment. Have something. If you can make a brownie sundae and it fits less than 25 added grams for that day, sit down with a big smile on your face, and if you really want it, enjoy it, right? And then the next day you get another 25, right? But what I'm finding is that when we allow ourselves to do that, when you give yourself the okay to enjoy a little bit, you don't want it as bad, right? And it's easier to, although I will say that I'm finding it easy. Like yesterday with the just having 3 grams and just adding 3 pennies into my pot, it's like I didn't lack anything. I really didn't. I felt like I was okay. I think I was okay knowing that I had so many more that I could use if I wanted. And I think that made all the difference. So the mindset of having the freedom, if you want it, is very, very important. So I want you to remember that today. And if you're going to have something, don't feel badly about it if you're within your limit. I want you to concentrate on enjoying the moment and celebrate it. And not only celebrate it, but be proud that you are staying in your limit and you're making a healthy choice even while you're there. Because one day you're going to go, you know what? I know I can have this if I want it, but I don't really want it so bad. So I feel the freedom to make a healthier choice, because I have the freedom to not if I want to, right? And it just changes things up a little bit. But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there and get your take on that and see how you're feeling about that. If anybody has any thoughts, bring them down below and we can share and read the other comments, because you guys are really coming up with some really neat things to read. So, okay, I'm going to see you later on today, guys. I love you, and I will talk to you later. Bye.